What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Comically Boston. Today is episode 259 and we are back with another weekly nerdy news podcast. Now, I am recording this on Sunday morning because I am probably not going to have a ton of time on Monday and this week coming up, busy with work and such, but there wasn't that crazy of a work week, so if there's any news that comes out later today, we will be talking about it at some point next week. But The Last of Us Season 2 Episode 3 drops tonight at 9, so stay tuned for a later Monday afternoon episode breakdown for The Last of Us Season 2. But today we're talking about the weekly nerdy news, which includes this week some alien news, some alien Earth news, and, you know, for the Alien Predator people, we're eating really good right now if you're a fan of that franchise. We also have some Ballerina character posters. There was a trailer for the Ghost of Yotei, the sequel game to the Ghost of TSHUIMA. Very interesting. There's some Marvel news, some DC stuff. Andor, you know, so we're going to be chatting about a few things today. Not too crazy a week, but let's jump right on into it, shall we? And we'll start off with Alien Earth. And I love this little poster here of the alien. And the alien design is so creepy with the slimy teeth. But I've always fascinated by, you know, you open up one jaw and there's a miniature set of jaw on the inside that, you know, come out like a snake and attack you, and then it goes back and it has, you know, two mouths in one, and inside the second mouth you have the Earth here. So interesting, very interesting. There's also an alternate poster here where it says 005-3 and you see a xenomorph on top of this crate here, and fear takes new forms, and that looks interesting. What is that in there? That doesn't necessarily look like an alien or a xenomorph or anything like that. What is that, like a bee in there? Oh, I don't know. Is this about to introduce some new alien creatures into this alien Earth? And this is set on Earth? So is this explaining why we've been in space the whole time of Alien, right? You know, and just for the people that don't know, the Alien timeline that where Alien Earth is set is in 2120, so 100 years from now, pretty much. And it's set 2 years before the first Alien film. Which is funny because the way that these timelines go is pretty wild. You know, Prometheus being one of the later films, and it's the first, and that in 2093. Alien Covenant in 2104. Alien Earth, Alien Romulus, which is set 20 years after the Alien 1, which Alien Romulus was phenomenal and probably my favorite of the Alien movies. Aliens 2, Aliens, is 2179. Also in 2179 is Alien 3, which not the greatest film, but it is better than Alien 4, Alien Resurrection, that is set in 2381. And that one is weird and creepy and probably just not going to be talked about ever again. Now there's also the Alien vs. Predator 2 films that don't include in this Alien timeline for some reason, but hey, we don't know if they're going to be coming back to Alien vs. Predator, but the new Predator Badlands trailer, which I have a breakdown of reaction to on the channel now, go check it out if you haven't. Predator Badlands made it seem like maybe there's going to be a connection back to the alien world and that the Alien vs. Predators might be linking up again. Maybe not in this movie, but maybe down the line we could be getting another Alien vs. Predator film. I mean, it's been 20 plus years. I'd be happy about it. I know some people didn't love those movies, but I'd certainly be happy. Now, also, a director that a lot of people don't like because he's a bit of an acquired taste, but a director I like quite a bit for things like Isle of Dogs, you know, The Fantastic Mr. Fox, the Grand Budapest Hotel, his last movie, The Asteroid City, which was super weird and unique, but also weird. And this is Wes Anderson's newest film called The Phoenician Scheme, and it's going to be starring Benicio del Toro, Michael Cera, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Jeffrey Wright, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Rupert Friend. Like, oh my god, the casts that he pulls together, like Wes Anderson's casts are so absurd. Like having Bryan Cranston and Tom Hanks in the same movie with a Jeffrey Wright and a Benedict Cumberbatch, like the quality of actors this guy gets is insanity. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's even more than this. Like He's the type of guy that has like little one-off cameos with like Brad Pitt, you know, and you're like, wait, what? Like, you get some of the biggest name actors just to play like little one-off little cameos. Like, I don't know, this guy just is an actor's director, you know what I mean? Actors just seem to love this guy. But moving on, the Wednesday teaser trailer, which has to be out now, I'm guessing, because I saw that this teaser tomorrow was coming out, you know, and this was earlier in the week. But Wednesday season 2 is coming to Netflix pretty soon, with Jenna Ortega still back as Wednesday. And what is that, the thing there, the hand? Ugh, creepy, but also cool how they make it work, you know? Sometimes it's an animatronic, sometimes it's just a dude in a blue suit. You know, interesting. There's a new project coming out, I'm not sure, I guess in theaters this May, a new A24 film called Friendship, and this is starring Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd looks like a little weirdo with long hair and mustache, and Tim Robinson always, I find, really weird, but I'm guessing this is going to be like a campy friends, you know, buddy comedy type of movie, and it just says men shouldn't have friends. And yeah. The next poster we're talking about is a film coming out on Amazon Prime July 2nd, and that is called Heads of State, where I believe John Cena is like the head of the United States, like the president of the United States, and then Idris Elba is like foreign president of like somewhere, and then Priyanka Chopra Jonas, ooh, hell of a name, I believe she's like his first, you know, Secret Service agent, you know what I mean? Like, she's the one that protects him. And I don't know what this is going to be about, but there's another John Cena film that is probably going to be not that great, but released direct to Amazon. Like, he's made at least 4 or 5 Amazon direct to Amazon Prime movies at this point, so they must just really like him. But it's just interesting that Idris and John Cena are teaming up again after the Suicide Squad. And now a movie that I'm actually looking forward to see because the trailers look interesting enough, and this is with John Krasinski, Natalie Portman, Isa Gonzalez, and Donald Gleason. This movie is called Fountain of Youth, written by James Vanderbilt and directed by Guy Ritchie. Very interesting, and that's coming to Apple TV Plus May 23rd. Interesting. Apple hasn't come out with a movie in a while. The last one I believe was Wolves, or Ghosted with Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. But speaking of movies that just came out recently, or coming out soon, came out over the weekend, Havoc with Tom Hardy, Timothy Olyphant, and Forrest Whitaker is now on Netflix. And I went to go start it the other day, but I opted for Baby Girl instead. And then I also was recapping and watching Star Wars Episode 1 and 2, because later today, me and my roommate are going to see the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith, returning to theaters April 25th. So this weekend, and I believe probably until May 4th, the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 3 will be in theaters. And, you know, I haven't seen this film since I was 5-6 years old when this came out, and 20 years later I'm dying to see this again, and I can't wait, and I'm fully fresh on, you know, Episode 1 and 2, so can't wait to rock and roll with this 3rd episode. But also, over the weekend, I got to see Sinners, and on Sunday, my movie review talking about Sinners and just chatting more about what that could be about. I didn't spoil it fully, but I am talking spoilers in that movie review. If you want to not hear spoilers, go check out the film and then come back and watch. But if you do want to, you know, maybe hear what the movie's about a little bit more and see if you might be interested, go check that out. Ryan Coogler freaking killed it. Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and Miles Catton absolutely crushed that film. I really loved it. Now, coming out in June 6th, Ballerina from the world of John Wick with Ana de Armas, and there's a few different character posters here. Ana de Armas looking good as the ballerina herself with the little cross on her shoulder tattoo. I like that. Of course, you have Keanu Reeves, Mr. John Wick himself, who is confirmed for the movie. You have Norman Reedus, of course, the man. I don't know what he's playing, but I do love Norman Reedus. This is the Rostov-Roma Russian mother, if you would, from the previous John Wick movies, and she will be returning for Ballerina. And the final one, Lance Reddick, rest in peace, the legend, Charon, will be back for Ballerina. and so will Ian McShane. So sad that Lance Reddick died. He had such a legendary voice. But we're almost done here and finishing out. We got some DC stuff before we finish with some Marvel and Star Wars and video game stuff. But the logo for Supergirl has been confirmed with the chair of the production set chair. And, you know, I kind of dig it. It's like not so exactly the same as the Superman logo, but close enough that you're like, yeah, same family. And I do love like the pop of the yellow in the Supergirl title. It's at a slight angle. I like that. Yeah, I can't wait for Superman. Speaking of Superman though, Hot Toys just dropped a teaser, much like the Daredevil Born Again teaser. The 1/6 scale Superman from James Gunn's Superman, David Cornsweet's Superman, is going to be getting a 1/6 scale figure coming soon. And just from this teaser shot, it looks great. And damn, I didn't realize I was going to be such a Supes guy. After I got that statue, I think it made me really realize how much I love Supes. Although he's still not better than Batman, Spider-Man, or any of the other ones I like, Supes is pretty great. Pretty controversial, I think, but Andor Season 1 and 2 has been some of the greatest Star Wars television, and it's just, for some reason, isn't getting the audience attraction it should. And, you know, it's highly underrated, and people just, I think it might just be the fact that it doesn't have lightsabers. They're just like, this is Star Wars, which is so dumb of people, but it is what it is. And you know it's good if critics are giving it a 99%. Like, critics hate everything, and the critics are giving it a 98 or 99%, and audience score is sitting around 79, almost 80%. I mean, 80% on an audience score is still pretty damn good, but a 99% critic score, like, you never see the critic score higher than the audience score. And, you know, if that to you is like, oh, well, the audience is always right, it must not be that great, it's still sitting at an 80%. You know, that's a pretty damn good score. But if the critics are liking it, it's a damn good show. You know, it's not just a damn good Star Wars show. It's just a good all-around show. And Season 1 is like, the show isn't for the dumb. If you're dumb, just don't even bother. Like, but, you know, we'll talk more about Andor throughout the weeks, but there is an Andor Season 2 first batch of episodes breakdown on the channel now. Go check it out. Go check out Andor if you haven't. And if you're wondering, like, do I have to watch Andor Season 1 to watch Season 2? Not exactly, but you should. You know, there's great stuff in Season 1. And, you know, we'll talk about more of Andor Season 2 throughout the weeks over the next month as we talk about the next 3 weeks of bundle episodes, because they're dropping in 3-episode bundles, which sucks for me, but also, you know, it kind of works with how you gotta watch it. And I recommend, if you're watching Season 2, watch Episode 1, 2, and 3 in one sitting. Almost like long movies, you know, like 4 parts of a long movie, rather than 12 episodes, you know. But just finishing up here with some Marvel stuff, and the Thunderbolts new poster, be careful who you assemble, and this is, I believe, an older poster, but the logo of the Thunderbolts itself is like made out of like metal that's riveted together. That I found interesting. I was like, a new logo for the title itself. But the Thunderbolts themselves were having their premiere over the last week, and Jack Schreier, or Schreier, however you say his last name, he has been posting behind the scenes clips of a bunch of different stunts and stuff like that, and he's like posting videos of behind the scenes of him, and it said like, quote, trying to make a Marvel movie in camera the most as possible, you know, like he's trying to do all of the stunts, you know, Florence Pugh jumping off of the second tallest building in the world, like flipping cars, dropping cement on cars, you know, trying to get as much of this in camera. And I think it's going to look really good. But the cast here in front of the Thunderbolts, Bob, Sentry, Red Guardian, and John F. Walker, Ghost, Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, amazing. Her like assistant is going to play by Geraldine Viswanathan, I think I said her name right. And then Perry, nope, that might be his character in Superman. He's playing Perry, head of the Daily Planet in Superman. But what is he playing? Oh, Wendell Pierce is his name, and he's playing Perry in Superman. What is he playing in Thunderbolts? I haven't seen very much of him in that. I think he's like a congressman or something, so maybe he's one of the other congressmen that are with Sebastian Stan's Bucky, because we learned that Bucky's stint as congressman does not last very long. But also coming up in, I believe, June, we have Marvel's next TV show, Ironheart, and this is just another image of Dominique Thorne in her iron suit with like the face mask popped up. And I don't know, this shot of this suit with like the paint job I like a lot more. The one I saw earlier looked a little weird, but maybe that was like the beginning of its, you know, form, and it like had this too clean, I guess. This looks a lot more right. But finally, just to end today's show, the Ghost of Yotei trailer was really good, and like that game I think is going to look so phenomenal. And the first game was so beautiful, Ghost of TSHUIMA, and this Ghost of Yotei is going to be very similar, but just the visuals, like the mask, it's all so much more crisp, and you wouldn't think that like it could get better than Ghost of TSHUIMA. Like that game looked friggin' amazing, and somehow, some way, this game just capturing the vibes with the temples, the high walls, the blood splattering as you charge through somebody, the bodies on the ground. But like, this was my favorite stuff. You're just on horseback as a samurai with like a big hat and sword on your back, and you're just riding through like beautiful blossom trees up to like this beautiful temple in the background or off in the distance, you know what I mean? Like, so beautiful. And then like there's, you know, different biomes. There's stuff that's like cherry blossom, and then there's wood settings, and then looks like there's going to be a mountainous setting. I wonder if you can really go all the way up to that mountain of the Yotei Mountain, I believe is what it's called. And this game, man, will you be getting Ghost of Yotei? Did you like Ghost of TSHUIMA? One of my favorite games. But that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. Comment below your thoughts about Alien Earth, the movie posters I talked about today. What are you most looking forward to? The new Wes Anderson film, Predator Badlands, Fountain of Youth, the new John Cena film, Ballerina. Are you going to be getting that Superman Hot Toys figure when it comes out? Check out Andor, check out The Last of Us, Thunderbolts coming out May, so I believe Thursday of next week there will be Thunderbolts I will be seeing, and then coming up after that, Ironheart, and then the Ghost of Yotei. So tons of stuff coming our way. Although this wasn't a crazy news week, still enough to talk about and chat about. And if you would like to chat more with me, my other social media links are down in the description below. You can also comment below. I'd love to chat with you guys and, you know, expand my community and talk more about the things we're interested in, things we're excited for and anticipating. That's it for today. My name is Big Cam. Thank you guys so much. Follow my other social medias. If you care to support the channel, the best way to do that is commenting below, hitting that bell so you don't miss future videos and you get the notifications, subscribing if you're new, and liking this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace.